Welcome back, everybody. Dilly here to give you your weekly meta update. This is an important one because we are just about to get back into ranked, and you're going to want to know, why am I picking the deck I'm picking? What am I trying to target in ranked? What is everybody playing? What do the lists look like? This is going to be very important if you're trying to get Master Ball or just not get completely decimated on the ladder. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel beforehand. We are just about at 20K. Giving away a full art research when we get there. Much appreciated. Let's get on into it. So this week, not a lot of change up as far as like what are people playing. Still a lot of Hydreigon, still a lot of Altaria, still a lot of Suicune. Number one deck, Hydreigon, kind of. Really, the most played deck in the format right now are Altaria Variants. That's because there are so many Altaria Variants, and there's only one Hydreigon Mega Absol. But there's about 150 players playing Hydreigon, or sorry, Mega Altaria, as opposed to 110 people playing Hydreigon. So Mega Altaria is really the deck to look out for as you're playing ranked. Hydreigon is going to be everywhere. Well, actually, in ranked, I'm going to be honest, I think you're going to see more Hydreigon than Altaria, because it is, we'll get into reasons why. But this is about the meta overview. We will go into more on each specific deck as we look at those decks, right? So let's get into the first deck. This is by Chandelure. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is who was able to win the tournament. And they were on Suicune with double Greninja. Okay, this is crazy because this is legit, out of 750 people, the only person that played Suicune double Greninja, which is mind-blowing to me because last week you saw Suicune was still able to win, which is cool, but you see new decks coming into the meta, all these Altaria variants that are now hitting for like 140, which regular Suicune kind of has a trouble with. Like, you can just get high-rolled as Suicune. So going to double Granny X feels like it makes more sense to me than not, because you need an attacker that can survive one hit from Mega Altaria, and Greninja EX does do that. I'm very surprised that literally only one person went around the norm, and it's not like this is something crazy. Like, we've seen Suicune double Granny X, and then at some point, I can't remember what exactly changed in the meta, people went to Suicune double Water Shuriken Gren. And so now I think it's just time that Suicune players go back to this variant, because again, for the first time, Suicune can get high rolled on, and a Suicune can get knocked out very, very early. The Granny X is just a natural, hey, here's a guy with more HP than Suicune that's going to be doing pretty comparable damage. There we go. Now I can still win matchups, because Suicune is still most consistent deck, and it will just win games like that. Like, that's kind of all it needs. It's a great deck for ranked because of that, because of how consistent it is. But that's really all that's different about Suicune. We did still see regular Suicune do fine. It did absolutely fine this weekend. You know, double, like, nothing has changed. It's still super, super powerful. It's not getting totally pushed out of the meta. It just has some matchups that are worse because of the new stadium that Altaria gets to play. But it's really not all that bad. Shout out to DJ Marnell being the highest placing regular Suicune player. And now we got to look at Hydreigon. Chip YG was the highest placing Hydreigon player, and they are on double Popsicle build. So double Lucky Ice Pop. Ooh boy, that is something, man. So let me tell you why this deck actually got buffed this format. So my tab is kind of frozen right now. My PC can't handle all the tabs I have open. We continue nonetheless. Popsicle is so good because what has happened is you have taken away the losing condition of Hydreigon, which was Cyrus, Indeedee, ping it with Greninja, ping it with something that does damage, knock out one Hydreigon, knock out Indeedee, bang, I won the game. Now it's knockout Absol, then a Hydreigon, then Mega Absol. You can kind of force the 1-1-3 line a lot of the time, or even just like the 1-3 line is chill. You know, you can hold the Mega Absol for as long as possible, bench the Absol, attach an energy to it, and then it's, you know, if you do it at the right time, then you're not worried about them just going around the Hydreigon and winning the game by taking out Absol. Losing that Indeedee win con is really, really brutal. Very, very brutal. There, I've preached many times with certain decks that like, those are the two lines you have. You have either knockout Mega Absol or knockout a Hydreigon and an Indeedee. going through double Hydreigon and a Mega Absol is a losing. You're not going to be able to win that game. There's also the Lucky Ice Pop. Besides being just an Indeedee replacement, heal 20 for the turn, there's always the chance that your Mega Absol goes from 50 HP left all the way back up to 170. It is what it is, man. So you have a high roll deck made even more high roll with Lucky Ice Pop. This, I think, is going to be the most popular deck for ranked because it is so brainless to play. This deck has everything. It is the strongest deck, like from a raw power standpoint, I think, and it is the easiest to play. You put all of that together, plus the fact that it just can high roll, you put all that together, and it is a deck that a lot of players are going to gravitate towards, so you're going to see a lot of it in ranked. Get ready to learn Hydreigon, buddy. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate, but you got to know how to play around it, which is usually just item block with Chingling. That's kind of your only hope, is item block with Chingling and hope that gets you through it. Next up we have, so this is mentioned in the title, we have some new strategies coming out to the meta. ABC1234 was able to pilot this Steelix deck to 4th place. Now, we're seeing a lot more of these decks in the meta. Whether or not Steelix is actually the best one to play, I'm not entirely sure. But what this is you put Steelix in the active spot, use the Brock to power up the Onix, use the Indeedees to heal it, the Ice Pops to heal it, the Pokemon Center Lady to heal it, and the Heavy Helmet to reduce damage. And Mega Steelix can hopefully sweep the game before your opponent is able to knock it out. That's it. That's the whole strategy. It was very funny to watch it played on stream. There is a lot I think can go wrong with the deck. If you miss Mega Steelix, your Onix is going to probably get knocked out. He doesn't have the most HP in the world. An Onix without a Heavy Helmet will be knocked out by a Hydreigon. That's not good. A quick Hydreigon, I feel, would be a pretty big problem for this deck. Just 130, 130. Yeah, you'll be reducing damage, but say they go first, and then on their second turn are able to Rare Candy into Hydreigon, put an Onix down to 10 HP if he had a Heavy Helmet attached, then you're evolving into Mega Steelix. You're still not attacking for the turn unless you open to double Brock. It seems like it can go pretty bad against Hydreigon. Against other decks, it feels kind of free. Suicune seems like it'd be free as long as you just draw cards right. Altaria also has the scary component of, oh gosh, this thing's hitting for 140 damage on their second turn. If they go second in that case, that's not great. So if you could just, it's almost just like Mega Venusaur, but with one less stage to worry about. Like instead of starting with Bulbasaur, you're basically starting with Ivysaur, just without the instant energy acceleration to it. But it is like, if I can just hold on for the first couple turns, I should win the game, which is fine. The only complaint I have about this deck is as I was watching it played on stream, on the Pocket Mad stream, dude, I really feel like there should be a Cyrus in here. I don't know what you could cut for it. Like, I feel like the double Lady, the double Ice Pop, and the double Helmet are probably necessary. I really don't know what you could get rid of for a Cyrus, but I would love to find the space to fit one in. But you will see a lot of decks like this. There are similar builds with Snorlax. Instead of Steelix, we're running Snorlax, still same double Indeedee. I had the video on the Crabominable. Again, it's the same idea. Use Indeedee plus Heavy Helmet on your big 3 retreat or more attacker that's supposed to just live forever in the active spot. So it's a new strategy. I think this is probably the most successful wall tank strategy we've ever had, or at least since like Mythical Island Golem, which was really only good for one format. And do I think that this is going to be the most overpowered strategy in the world? No. Do I think it'll be pretty fun to play? Yeah. I think that you'll have a good time playing the Mega Steelix deck, but I wouldn't count on it to be, like, I don't think this is going to be a deck that's going to gain you billions of points in ranked, to be honest. It is very draw dependent. It's very Lucky Ice Pop dependent. How many heads are you flipping? There's not a lot of agency with this deck outside of, you know, who are you starting with? Maybe there's a matchup where you don't want to start Onix, you want to start Indeedee. Make sure that you don't overbench, so you give your opponent a win condition that isn't the Mega Steelix. There's not a lot going on where you have much of a say into what's happening with the Mega Steelix. But this was the only guy to play it at the tournament, and he got 4th place. So still a great accomplishment, nonetheless. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Altaria stuff. So Quickly, we'll pull up the highest placing Altaria, like non-Gourgeist variant by Sklee318. This is their list. Instead of playing a Lele, they played one Indeedee. Other than that, the list is almost the same. They also teched in a red, which I don't mind. I like the red. I talked about it when I made the video on it, that I feel like a red would be a great idea for the deck. The only thing that's curious is we're still on double Licia, not one Licia, one Pokeball, even though we have the Indeedee in there, but I don't hate it. This deck, well, we should compare it to the Gourgeist version. So YFRHF, this is the highest placing Gourgeist variant. And we'll talk about the two different versions of Altaria. Like, these are the main ways the deck's being played right now. Don't mind the ads. Gotta love Limitless TCG. They love throwing these ads at me. So Gourgeist Altaria, obviously, instead of using... and actually, interestingly, no Chingling in this variant, just Meloetta, which I like to make it more consistent. I don't mind this idea at all. I'm very excited to try out this deck list. I have not yet because I am missing a Gourgeist Holo. Don't know how. I've opened up so many packs and I only have one Gourgeist Holo. I love Pokemon Pocket, man. I love it. I love it. Okay, so what are the benefits of this deck over the other variant? Honestly, this deck is favored into the matchup against the other Altaria variants. It seems to have a better time against, well, it definitely has a better time against Magnezone or Ikorio. The matchup is actually favorable for this deck. It is close to the same against Suicune. I think the other variant, this one here, has a slightly, very slightly better time into Suicune, but not a whole lot. Like, this is still taking a 50-50 matchup to it based on the tournament data from this weekend. It does better into Hydreigon, I believe, as well, or again, very comparable. It seems like this is the way to go with Altaria. From the matchup data, from the overall win percentages, from the decks, this seems to be the better variant for Altaria. And yeah, I mean, you got the Gourgeist. Oh, another benefit of the Gourgeist is you have to discard a card from your hand. Can that be a con? Yes. But what it can also do is start thinning your deck. So if you're looking at getting Mars towards the end of the game, or trying to use Copycat for the next turn, you can attack with Gourgeist, maybe discard a second Gourgeist, discard one of these basic Pokemon you might not need, and all of a sudden, you now, you just have that one less card in your hand, in your deck. So if you get Mars the late game or whatever, it's not something you got to draw into. The Soul Shot, like that benefit of that attack, it can hurt you, but it can also definitely help you, especially in the late game. Again, the Meloetta engine is very cool to try to set all of this stuff up. I think it alleviates a lot of the problem of just trying to find these basics early. A double Pokeball, no Licia, because we only have the Swablues and the Jirachis as our non-psychic guys. And I like the Plaza plus the training area. I mean, this makes the Gourgeist getting stuck in the active spot no longer as big of a problem. I just like this deck overall, man. And Gourgeist is such a cool Pokemon, so I'm excited to see it doing well. But I think this is the best version of Altaria that you could play heading into ranked, and it is going to be very, very scary. We have this last variant. Shout out Mr. Wriggler. Highest placing one here. This is the Altaria variant I think I am the least fond of at the moment. I played this deck quite a bit last format, but towards the end of the format, it felt like it was starting to perform worse and worse, especially when Hydreigon's put in the poison barbs. It just made it very, very difficult. The Chinglings would get knocked out going back into your turn, and your opponent wouldn't even have to like attach to Dino in order to do it. They could freely use their energy elsewhere. They could put a poison barb on an Absol, the bench snipe Absol, and then just kind of ignore the Chingling in the active spot because it would die to poison anyways. A lot of things about the matchup started to feel worse as the poison barbs made their way in there, which I guess is why Mr. Wriggler is on one Chingling, one Jirachi. Makes sense to me. But yeah, I played a lot of it last format, and I'm not totally hype on it now, especially now that we have the training area. Like, really the biggest pro of this deck was it was an Altaria deck that could hit for more than 130. You could hit for 150. You also had Cyrus, you know, targets wherever you wanted, but having the extra damage was very, very nice from the Greninja. And now with training area, it's kind of just good enough to say, I'm just going to hit for 140 on the active, and doing that twice will probably win me the game as Altaria. Next up, Blaziken. James 732. Why you gotta make me unleash this evil on the world? I hate this deck, bro. I hate it. You know me. I hate this deck, man. So the only innovation with Blaziken, this is really either the only or one of two Blazikens that performed well, is we now have a Cleffa in here. Makes it a bit more consistent. Maybe this will make me not hate the deck. Every time I play it, I never set up Mega Blaziken, and I lose, and that's not even a joke. That is from me playing on stream. Please go watch any of my games with Mega Blaziken on stream, and let me know how many total times I sent up Blaziken. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 games. So I never liked the deck. But with the Cleffa, it makes it a little bit more consistent, and it's Mega Blaziken. It has all the usual power. Do I think Mega Blaziken is going to... I run into it quite a lot on the regular ladder, and I still think it's a fairly popular deck just from a, like, player base as a whole. A good amount of people do like Blaziken, so I think it will be something you run into on Ranked. Not as often as any of these other decks, but it is something to consider. How much consideration would I put into it? I wouldn't say that you should avoid a deck to play for Ranked if it takes a bad Mega Blaziken matchup. That's as much as I can say on it. Next up, we have Cool93 with Mega Charizard Y. And now this is interesting. So they are actually playing the Baby Zard version. And I don't know. I don't see the point in him anymore. We'll talk about MagOri in a bit, but for a little spoiler, MagOri doesn't seem to be doing as well. So with that deck, and then really the only other thing you got to worry about with Oricorios is like the Kangaskhan variants that play it, and those are you'll run into them for sure, but you know they're not like totally around. I don't know how much I love the Baby Zard, because the Baby Zard is also, it's not going to win you the Kangaskhan matchup. There's no way. You're going to send up Baby Zard to knock out the Oricorio, and then the Kangaskhan is going to come knock out the Charizard, and guess what? You don't have enough energy to get the Mega Charizard Y set up. You lose. Ha ha. Like, that's the case with the Baby Zard, is it's here to counter Oricorio, and guess what? It doesn't. It takes too long to get the Baby Zard set up, meaning that your opponent has more than enough time to set up Oricorio, plus their other attackers, and then once the Baby Zard comes up, and knocks out an Oricorio, it probably just dies in return, and then you don't have anything else set up because you committed 4 energy to this thing. I don't see the point in the card in the deck. I think if you're playing Megazard, you just have to accept that you are going to lose. Now, I did see a very funny variant going around where, look, take everything you see here, take out a Megazard Y, take out a, what did they take out? Probably the Sabrina and a Cyrus, and they have a 1/1 Araquanid line with the Lana. The point of that is, all right, if my opponent is playing a Mega deck and benches their Mega too early, I can set up a board state where, Entei, just chill in the active spot, don't take any points. I'm going to set up Araquanid, Mega Charizard Y, and then I'm going to Lana up your Mega and knock it out, and I win the game. I have almost been punked on by this deck on ladder. It's very, very frightening when that happens and you're caught with your pants down. You're like, oh no, my Mega Altaria is actually not totally chill here. This is a problem. This is going to be a very, very big problem. Hope you don't have Lana. Very, very scary to deal with. Very funny. And with all the draw from Entei, it's like not the most difficult thing in the world to set up. I guess it's not the most unbelievable thing to set up that 3-card combo. Next up, we have Pokemon Champ 9 with Chandelure Meowth. Not much has changed with this list either. I think the biggest thing from when I made my video is I'm seeing a lot more players on 1 Lampent, 1 Rare Candy. Interesting. I don't know about that, but it seems to be working enough for them. This will be a good deck for Ranked for you because it is very easy to play. Meowth can win you any game, and it's pretty easy to build, and it's very simple. There's not much going on. Put a Meowth in the active spot, build up your Chandelure, get up to enough damage, swing into the Pokemon, knock them out. GG's, you've won. I don't know if I love 1 Pokeball, 1 Lesia. I kind of like double Lesia in my list, but not much more to say on Chandelure. It can be anything if the coin flips go its way. Next up, we have MagOri, played by Architect. Shadow Architect. And MagOri has sort of fallen off a bit. So, previously, it had a really, really good time into Altaria. Altaria Gourgeist is going to body this deck. That's bad for it. It used to be, as a Altaria player, it used to feel like this deck had a 100-0 matchup into me, because I would never waste the deck slot on the baby Altaria. It just doesn't do enough. It gets knocked out in return by a Magnezone, so it comes up, it knocks out an Oricorio, and then guess what? It gets knocked out by a Magnezone, and I have no way to deal with the second Oricorio in play. So, was never a big fan of that tech option. I would just take the L, but Gourgeist has it built in. Gourgeist can swing on an Oricorio, and then it can live the Magnezone hit as well, and you have the 2-2 line. So, like, you're good. You're going to get through the Oricorios with that deck. Other than that, having a horrible time against Hydreigon. The matchup seemed to have gotten even worse for this deck. Just not going well for it at all. I think the Poison Barbs making it so much easier to just one-shot a Magnezone really hurt it. Yeah, this deck is not in a good position right now. It used to be my go-to, like, I am rage queuing. I just want points. I'm gonna play MagOri in ranked. I don't think I would use it for that anymore. It seems like it's taking negative matchups overall into the field. Next up, we have the Mimikyu Greninja deck. So, now this one I do got some stuff to say about. We built this deck, as you know, or we refined the deck. I mean, we saw someone with Greninja, Mimikyu, Giratina together and went to work and made the list playable. This is a new version, I think innovated by Numatali, however you say his name. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how to pronounce anyone's names out here. And he took out a couple cards. He took out Giratina, Sableye, and Precious Plaza, and added in double Rocky Helmet, 1 Lucky Ice Pop. The Sableye being removed, I'm fine with it. I didn't even love putting the Sableye in the deck to begin with. It was just like, it's early meta. There might be a bunch of Oricorios. Let's play something just in case. I don't think you really need the Sableye anymore. I don't love the 1 Giratina. I don't love the no Precious Plaza. Mimikyu has 2 retreat. You're saying that when Mimikyu's in the active spot, you can't move him at all. Or it's going to be almost impossible to, right? Because you're getting, like, by the time you get 2 energy on this guy, like, imagine you start Froakie, you manually attach the Froakie, retreat into a Mimikyu. By the time he has 2 energy on him, he's dead. So you're kind of just giving up 2 points by putting the Mimikyu in the active spot without a Precious Plaza. It can also be very hard to find your 1 of Giratina, which isn't great because he takes 4 energy to charge up, and then you're going to be taking turns off attacking if you did build up a Mimikyu beforehand just to get this guy up and running. So, I mean, obviously the list has been successful. Numatali won a tournament with it, but I personally, like, I tried it. I gave it a shot. I don't love the no Precious Plaza, and I don't love the 1 Giratina. So those would be my changes. The Lucky Ice Pop was fine. It did win me a game where my Giratina would have otherwise knocked itself out and given me a tie. And the Rocky Helmets, I don't know how much value I actually got out of the Rocky Helmets, to be honest. I don't think the Rocky Helmets were putting in as much work as I would want them to. I guess they're fine into Mimikyu, but really the problem is that when your opponent attacks into the disguise, Mimikyu takes no damage. Rocky Helmet only activates if your Pokemon takes damage. So, because Mimikyu loses no HP, Rocky Helmet does not apply. So, it's not even like the Rocky Helmet and the disguise have good synergy together. And again, the 20 damage didn't come up for me really ever. I'm sure there are cases where it will, but like in Hydreigon, it'd probably be good, right? They swing into the Mimikyu once, they swing into it again, and then maybe Giratina can come up and knock it out, but Hydreigon is probably not the best matchup in the world for this deck anyways, and neither is Suicune from what Sek has let me know on the deck. But yeah, this is Mimikyu Giratina. This is where it's at. Give whatever build you want a try. Take the Tilly recommendations or don't. I'll let you know how it goes in ranked when I give it a real shot against all the top meta decks. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Kangaskhan variants. All right, so we'll take a look at all of these Mega Kangaskhan variants, and it's pretty funny because each of them specializes in, like, being better against one of the top 3 decks. So, Oricorio variant right here has a better time into Suicune Greninja. Darkrai variant right here has a better time into Hydreigon. This is my personal favorite one. I really like poison stuff, so Mega Kangaskhan Poison is pretty cool. And then the Greninja variant has a better time into Mega Altaria. So the Kangaskhan deck for me, every time I play it, every time I play a variant, I feel like I'm just missing something. Like every turn feels like just there's one thing I'm missing. I just can't quite put my finger on what it is about Kangaskhan that isn't all the way there. But I don't think this is a top 3 deck in the format, or I don't think Kangaskhan is a top 3 Pokemon cards in the format, I guess is a better way to put it. I know there's a lot of variants. There's a bunch of ways to play it, even more than just these ones that I'm showing you. But yeah, this one better into Altaria. This guy, I believe I said, was better into Hydreigon. Yeah, better into Hydreigon. And then this one's better into Suicune. So I guess if you really want to play Kangaskhan, pick whichever one you are running into more, and that's kind of how you gotta play it. But there's not much more to say. Again, when I play the deck, it just feels like I'm missing something. I don't know. I don't know quite what it is, but something is just not quite there with Mega Kangaskhan. And the last deck I want to talk about is Mega Gardevoir, because it finally did show up in a day 2 in a Pocket Match tournament. And I get a lot of people asking me about Gardevoir. What do I think about Gardevoir? I think Gardevoir is, unfortunately, not great. This is the only Gardevoir variant that made it into day 2. And this is not an innovated deck list. This is something that people have been playing since the set just came out. With the Baby Indeedee in here as your supplemental attacker. This deck list has been tried in tournaments and has never performed well. I think the player who played it, well, congratulations to them. We'll give them their shout out. Flanorx, however you say your name, Flanorx. I don't think that this is a great deck by any means. I still think it is not suited well into the meta. It's going to get bodied by Hydreigon. It feels like a lot of decks can honestly beat it from my time playing against Gardevoir and playing with Gardevoir. So nothing new about Gardevoir. It ended up making a day 2, which can happen with any deck. I mean, we saw Steelix in top 4. Does that mean Steelix is the most broken thing in the world? Or does it mean that it was just the guy's day? We'll have to see as the meta goes on. But Mega Gardevoir, I think I still have not seen a deck list I like. I don't like the Mewtwo EX build. I don't like the Indeedee EX build. I don't like the build with like Xerneas and the baby Mewtwo that does 120 for 4. I don't like any of them. I have not played a Mega Gardevoir list that I thought was truly groundbreaking and powerful enough to be a top contender in the meta. So that is my thought on Gardevoir. Just thought I'd throw it in the video so you at least knew my stance on it. But guys, that is going to be it. That's going to be the whole meta. We are looking at a lot of Hydreigon. Altaria Gourgeist is probably the best Altaria variant. No, I'd say definitely the best Altaria variant. Suicune is now moving on to Double Greninja EX, and that is kind of letting it take a better hold on the meta. I mean, one guy played it and they won the tournament, so seems like a natural progression. And we're seeing new stall decks hit the meta, which is something fun. It's new. Didn't expect anything new to really come out of this week, but there we go. We got decks that are just built to stall the opponent and try to win that way. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and I will see you on the next one.